Can we be saved from bad fruit as though through fire? Hypergrace teachers often cite 1 Corinthians chapter 3 verse 15 as proof that even if Christians fail to manifest spiritual fruit, they will still be saved. But does the passage truly support that claim? Let us examine it closely. Paul writes in 1 Corinthians chapter 3 verse 15, "If anyone's work is burned, he will suffer the loss, but he himself will be saved, yet as though through fire." At first glance, when read in isolation, this verse might seem to suggest that Paul was speaking about spiritual fruit. After all, Paul frequently rebuked the Corinthian church for their immaturity and carnality as they lacked spiritual discernment, being so divided among themselves. However, does this context indicate that Paul was speaking about spiritual fruit in verse 15, or was he referring to ministry work within the church? If we read from 1 Corinthians chapter 3 verse 11 to verse 15, it becomes clear that Paul was not addressing spiritual fruit, but rather the quality of each person's efforts in building the church. The Corinthian church was divided, with members elevating different leaders and ministry styles above others. Paul rebuked them, emphasizing that no foundation other than Christ should be laid. He then warned that every minister should take care in how they build upon that foundation, as their work will be tested by fire. If their ministry efforts do not endure, they will suffer loss, but they themselves will still be saved. The interpretation makes sense because salvation is not based on church ministry, but on abiding in Christ. It is essential to distinguish between the fruit of our labor in church and the spiritual fruit that comes from our life rooted in Christ. In contrast, Paul issues a far more severe warning to those who defile the temple of God. In 1 Corinthians chapter 3 verse 16 to verse 17, he writes that we are the temple of God and His Spirit dwells in us. He then states that if anyone defiles God's temple, God will destroy that person, for His temple is holy. Like and subscribe for more 2-minute biblical rebuttals.